I said, don't sweat it. The rest of the year we'll take care of it.
One hour.
You have to, you
Yeah.
have to put a pass, and I
Yeah,
have a password, but it's one of a gazillion passwords that I don't know. I have to hunt it down or change it.
Unexpected.
Are we on that?
That one.
This is
It's
not.
not doing anything. It's 7:00 p.m. It is the appointed time for our September 12th, 2016 meeting. So let us please come to order and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's take a roll call, please.
President Delahuey,
Present.
Vice President Jones,
Present.
Commissioner Scholar,
Present?
Commissioner Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Darrow,
Present.
Solicitor Stone,
Here.
Manager Patterson. Here.
Thank you. Let's start with a motion to approve the minutes of the workshop meeting of 2016, September 12th, 2016, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections, changes? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Let's move along, please, to a motion to enter into a joinder agreement with Municipal Benefit Services for employees' health insurance services. And Gwen, I know we discussed this at the workshop meeting last week, but would you please remind us what this is?
This is an agreement, this is the agreement that we enter into with the company that provides our health insurance services and our benefits package. And this is, they're renewing their paperwork and freshening up and making sure they have the contract with all of their member municipalities. And this was ours, it was our turn to renew ours. It's not asking us to do anything different than the current arrangement that we operate under.
And do you enter into the agreement, or does Matt entered in.
I believe Matt does. Well, good question, because I am the chief administrative officer for pensions, but I think Matt would do this one.
I'm going to move that whoever it is that's required to execute the agreement on behalf of the township be authorized to enter into the joint agreement with municipal benefit services for the employee health insurance services.
I second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Let's then move along to our reports. And let's start with public safety. Chief, come on up.
Hi, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
What do you got here? What's this R2D2?
Freaking me out.
It's not doing anything.
anything.
It will later, but it's not doing anything now.
It's pretty wild, man. Following count police activity, Leplo Township for the month of August 2016. Alarmed residents and business, total of 11 there. We'll start with a theft report. This goes back to, I told you last month, where we assisted the Swickley Heights in doing some search warrants and apprehended an individual that broken into a lot of cars, mostly in Swickley Heights. Oftentimes with these, we get calls later on, weeks later, that where someone finally discovers something missing from their car. In this case, it was a gentleman that had a pair of $500 prescription Ray-Ban sunglasses, and he was just curious when he heard that. I don't know if he viewed your broadcast, Matt, but he knew that we had arrested somebody in this, and he asked if we could check. And Swickley Heights held on to some of the items and took the sunglasses over, and lo and behold, they were his.
Wow.
So he was very happy to get his prescription Ray-Bans back.
Good.
This is a fraud case. This one, someone was attempting to open an Amazon account. Somehow they got their credit card number. They don't know how that was secured, but Visa was pretty good about it, and they knocked them out pretty quick anymore. They know there's so much that's going on. And if you call them and tell them something happened, they cut all that out, so you're not really responsible for it. This one, this woman's from Sonic Village, and she had seen our demonstration and seminar that we put on for them up there, and person calls and says, "We have your granddaughter here. She's under arrest. She's going to need some." They claim to be an attorney. They said, "She's going to need bond money. Can you help her out?" And they put a young female on the phone, and for about 3 seconds, they said, "Grandma, please, can you help me?" And then they take the phone back off of them, and it works. She was ready to send money, and I says, she goes, "They're coming here. If I don't, they're going to come." I says, "Just stop right there." So we sent a car right away and kept her on the phone, and she says, "I thought it was a fraud, but I wasn't sure because I know it was my granddaughter." I called her granddaughter. She was in the middle of the United States somewhere in Kansas or something. She goes, "No, I'm fine. I'm at work." So it's helping. But it's still going on. We had a guy come in the office the other day, and elderly, but this guy wasn't elderly, and he went down and he thought he fell for the IRS scam. He went down. This guy's a businessman. He lives in a very nice home, and he went down to Hills. How old I am? Hills.
Where?
He went to Target. I said Hills.
Oh,
He went down to Target and he bought $2,000 worth of gift cards. And the people at Target said to him, "Hey, they're instructed now, if when someone comes in and does this, hey, this might be a scam. Are you sure you know what you're doing?" Yeah. And he sent them the numbers of the gift cards. Well, they were able to, after he stopped in our office and we said, no. We were able to call Target back, and they were able to stop the payment on the. I said, "Are you kidding me?" And I know the guy. He says, "You fell for this." He says, "They're good." He says, I was in the process of moving from one house to the next. They told me they sent information to the old house and vice versa. And he says, I thought I missed it. So I says, "Put Target gift cards to the IRS." Really? He was embarrassed, to say the least. Okay, what we got here? Harassment by communications. Someone was owed some money and this company was making a lot of calls to them and they asked if they would stop making the calls, so we assisted them. There was a young female that was going around your
the engineer, some more information the engineer needed. It's possible that they'll be ready to go at the October meeting, which means you may have it in front of you for approval at the October 17th legislative meeting. So just keep that on your radar that it is coming.
Do you want to tell us about the Ferndale?
Oh, sure. The Ferndale development is they're proposing to put 12 townhouses there are 2 lots at the corner of Ferndale and Weber Road extension. So if you go all the way up to the top of Weber, where it ends, and you turn left, that's Ferndale. And then there are a couple single-family homes, and then there's an open lot. There was a single-family home there that there was a fire a couple of years ago. So the house burned down and was torn down, and the lots have been empty. And so now developers are coming in and putting 4 townhouses facing that, and then an access road down the side of the property, and putting 2 blocks of 4 more townhouses. That way. John Berger and Greg Pilowitz.
Any relation to the developer down on 65?
Yes.
It is
Same,
developer.
the same
Yes.
person.
Mhm.
Not the same price. Probably.
Probably not. I don't know. They didn't talk about that yet, but. So that's,
So the
it's
same
working
developer
through the,
Boundary Street.
oh, I don't know if it's the same developer for the townhouses, but it's Berger did the mini storage over across the other side of 65 in Osborne. And he also was a developer of the Esmark building, I think,
In Edgewood.
in Edgeworth.
Refresh my recollection. Is the zoning on that, does it require conditional use?
It does not. It's
It's
townhouses are permitted in R2.
So what comes here would simply be the development plan?
Mhm.
So they would be approving development, not zoning. They would not be addressing zoning.
Correct. It's approved under the zoning. And this,
Great fellows, he said, oh.
okay. This leads to a secondary conversation. This could tie, the resident comments that were here saying we would like the board to re-examine the zoning because we kind of weren't aware that townhouses could just be plopped in the middle of our single-family home neighborhood. The timing for that request is good because we had already talked about refreshing our comprehensive plan, and so we can all look at all these things together and re-examine the zoning, and the board can look at what we have and talk about what they want. So nothing can stop this townhouse development like some people would like, but the timing is good to look at what the board wants to allow in the future, because now that sewers are here, things have changed and more parcels are opened up for development.
Speaking of which, one of the things that Harold had this past week was the medical marijuana dispensary, which I guess was just in the preliminary stages of application for Sewickley. Was it for Sewickley?
I think it was for Sewickley.
Now, it took me back to the Weber, was it the
Weber's Corner.
Weber's Corner, and we talked about the uses of, the conditional uses of these different places.
Mhm.
Didn't we talk about something that,
We did. I would have to look at our zoning ordinance to see if that's one of the shared uses, that maybe the medical clinics was a use that was Sewickley was given, and we are covered under their having it. So that's another thing that can go on the list and of things to revisit and
yeah,
what we allow and
it just rung a bell, and I remember thinking, we were looking at all these different uses in each
we were.
township, and I thought, well, we're gonna move it right up here.
We'll have to look and see if that's
In
allowed, yeah.
Weber's Corner.
Well, they would have to fill in a big ravine, so.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is not to say it's even going to be approved. So,
It'd be better at the nature center.
here you go. I don't, there's many, many steps to getting this approved, I'm sure.
Well, your thought is good about revisiting our zoning plan. What do we do to go about doing that?
I'll send out an email asking everyone to look over the zoning ordinance, which is on our website. There's a zoning ordinance and then the zoning map, so you can kind of skim. There's a chart in the zoning ordinance that you don't have to read the entire 200 pages. There's a chart, I think it's on page 33 of the zoning ordinance, that talks about the uses and the zoning districts, that what's allowed in each district. And that's a good place to start. You can look at what is allowed where. and go over it and make any notes, have any
Is that the map
questions.
on the wall? We used to post them. Map used to be posted.
Yeah, I think when we got the aerial, we took it out. Any questions that you have from there, talk about, do you think you want this here? And then maybe we can have another, talk about it at a workshop meeting and have a little work session. We can talk about it in front of the planning commission. So,
Well, that should definitely be in the SWOT analysis. It was not on the list originally. It's not in what I'm working on. But I think that we should definitely include that because the SWOT analysis might be looked at a very large picture.
Anything else with respect to planning or zoning?
No.
Tax collector.
Good evening, everybody. Provided this month's report for you. Page 2 is the August numbers, but I've kind of keeping a running total of the full year for you. So we'll kind of combine the tax collection and the treasurer's report here. As far as total taxes collected for the month of August, you had $32,786.32. You can see all of the account balances for August that was there, which means when you add all that up, total monies on hand was $1,587,113.35. Subtract out the pledged funds and the targeted funds, and you get a net operating funds of $1,424,565.76. For that, you can also see the sewer bond, the reserve, or the repairs, and the debt fund totals for the month of August. If you go to actually page 3, which is the graphs, this is where we start to compare August of 2016 with August of 2015. So you can kind of get the variance between the 2 months. You're looking at a total of $1,000, $1,200 for between the 2 years. The 2016 year-to-date budget number, you can see that the variance between the budgeted amounts for the different property taxes or different tax accounts and then the year-to-date collections as of right now, we're off about $53,000. The majority of that right now looks to be the earned income tax, but obviously because employers pay on a monthly basis now, we'll hopefully in the next 4 or 5 months here, 4 months, collect most of that as we kind of go through. Page 2, or the last page, is just the 2015 numbers for your reference. And then the last chart is a comparison between 2016 and 2015 year-to-date numbers. Any questions?
Any issues to be concerned about?
None that I know of as of now. So, we seem to be pretty well on target from what I can tell. So, yeah.
All right.
So, thank you. Yeah, thanks.
thanks.
Appreciate it. With that being said, I will entertain motions as enumerated on the agenda.
Finance,
Yes, sir.
I motion to approve August bill list in the amount of $21,282.02. Ratify August prepaid bills in the amount of $25,819.81. And to ratify August payroll transfers in the amount of $16,984.72.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you.
Secondly, I motion to approve the 2017 minimum municipal obligation and enroll for both the police and non-uniform pension plans.
The motion and second. And again, I know we discussed this last week, but Glenn, could you give us a reminder about what this is?
Yes, this is the amount that we have 2 pension plans that the township supports. One is the police pension plan, which is inactive, but we have 5 retired officers who draw from that. And then we have the non-uniform plan, which is for all full-time current township employees. Every year we have an actuarial study that's done that determines how much the township has to put in to fund it for the following year. And we just got them in today. For 2017, the minimum municipal obligation for the non-unit plan, which is the regular employees, is $9,500, and that's standard. That's same. We get a flat rate every year, and that includes the flat amount plus administrative fees. And the good news is that after a couple of years of having to put some contributions into the police pension plan, for 2017, it is determined that we do not have to budget any money to go into the police pension plan. That as stands, it's funded and should be funded for the year. It's revisited every year, but we don't have to make a contribution to the police plan
I mean, that's
this
fully
year.
funded to date.
To date. Well, through their study of
Yeah,
through 2015.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the motion would say in the amounts of 9,500 for the non-uniform and 0 for the police.
Well, amend the motion.
Motion that those figures be approved.
Second.
All right, so right now, well, is there any further discussion? So the motion right now is to amend the previous motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion to amend carries. Is there any further discussion with respect to the as now amended original motion? Nope. All right, so now the motion is to approve the 2017 minimum municipal obligation for both the police and non-uniform pension plans. For the non-uniform at what rate?
$9,500.
And the police at 0. Everybody understand?
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Thank you. Anything else on finance? Lebanon Township Authority.
Nothing new to report at this time, but we have had 2 people show interest in the positions on
As they do in California, but every municipality has to have a overall general plan that meets the state requirement. And every other year, they convene a commission or a group committee of the citizens to review the elements of that plan, to see if the goals of the plan that you submit to the state are being met. If
All right, anything else from the authority?
Nothing else at this time.
All right, QB I mean, it's official that Susan has accepted our executive director as, what's that?
We got an email earlier.
Yeah. I mean, but
This is Susan Hockenberry.
Why do I know her? What did she do before?
Susan Hockenberry was the former executive director of the local government company.
I just went through her school, so I can tell you she's pretty good.
Yeah, I knew that, I looked at that name, I go, wow, I know the name.
I mean,
We've golfed it around a few times.
Yeah,
I've seen you there.
yeah. Oh, Amo.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
she is, one of the reasons that she wants this job is that she's pursuing a PhD in local government. I mean, the woman truly is the most qualified person you could imagine to lead a cog, and especially to lead a cog that is so sick, so
She sees it as a job.
she really does. And if anybody's gonna be able to do what the cog needs to have done, it's the woman that's got a PhD in cogs, or is working for a PhD in cogs. So with that being said, I circulated an email asking, she wants to come and meet. And my thought was that it would be more useful for us to do a video in the light of the fraud prevention video that we did. And especially now that I'm having technical problems, I would really prefer not to do that during a regular meeting. I think it would be a little bit disruptive. I think it would take more time out of the meeting than I think we should be using. So I'd like to have a special meeting to do that, and the date that I sent around was October 5.
Days.
That is a Wednesday.
They're usually-
Okay. Well,
That's not a guarantee.
you're no good. Then let me go back to the drawing board, because she really wants, as much as I want to make a video, she wants to meet with you all. So, I mean, I guess let me get the
Fridays, yes.
Thursday and
That
Friday.
may all change. I may be available.
What's your general?
Well, what if you did it like at 6 o'clock on the day of one of our 2 meetings?
We can do that.
Come an hour early.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might work.
Okay. So then why don't we do that on the 10th?
October 10th.
Is that okay? Does that work?
Ron, do we have to advertise that?
Yeah, but you can,
It's not hard to run that ad, it's not big.
yeah, no.
We'll do
I would,
it. Just,
because
then there's a time
I was
change.
thinking you could, yeah,
When's
I'll work
the
with
time?
Okay.
That day.
So it would be an hour earlier than the normal meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.